So here we are today with Vimal Kumar, of course, the Dronacharya, and who doesn't know Vimal? Especially if you're in badminton. I think Vimal has a very unique perspective because he's one of those coaches who has seen a Prakash Padukone up close, who has seen a Lakshya Sen, who has seen a Saina Nehwal, who has seen a PV Sindhu. I think he's in that very unique space of having been around the greats, and he himself being also a very good coach. So I'm going to straight dig into some questions which I think only Vimal can answer in his style, and especially that clarity. So Vimal, first thing like we discussed this in the past. Indian sports people, okay, in general, whether we look at badminton, we look at other sports also. A lot of times, when it comes to really doing it, when it matters, a lot of times they sort of freeze, and they're not able to bring results when it matters at important junctures. Why do you think that happens? What's your take on it?
No, it is nothing new in Indian sport, because I've seen it over the years, right from maybe when I look back, maybe 45 years back, of course, when I was coming up in the sport in badminton, Prakash Padukone was my idol, and even he experienced something very similar. I saw that, because in 1980 he won the All England Badminton Championships. So that was very special for Indian badminton, Indian sport, and then a couple of months later was the World Badminton Championships. Those days, badminton World Championships come once in 3 years. So
Oh really?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know this.
yeah, it was introduced in 1977. So it's 1980, and when Prakash won those 3 back-to-back tournaments, he was the #1 player in the world, and he was the top seed for the World Badminton Championship. There was a big thing in India at that time when Prakash won. The reception they gave him, all those things were very special. But a couple of months later was the World Badminton Championships, and that was in Indonesia. Those time Indonesia was this country that was dominating badminton, and they were even still, of course, the badminton is very big over there. But there, Prakash was the top seed, and he was expected to win the World Championships. But again, in the quarterfinal stage, he lost to a player whom he beat on a love game. 15-0, he beat him at the All England. And that sort of, so, so it was very shocking for Indian fans, and of course, we at the time, we didn't know much about it. Now just I'm looking back. When you ask me this question, I'm just looking back. So Prakash, he couldn't because that expectations, whatever it was, he couldn't win the world
When
title.
you say, sorry to cut you, but when you say 15-0, at that level, obviously the other guy is also somebody special.
Very special,
To beat at 15-0.
Prakash beating 15-0 at the All England, and and then the same guy beating him 2 months later in 2 straight games in Jakarta, and of course it was something I just when I look back, it is tough to digest, how it happened. Then maybe of course I was in the national camp, we were there. Then again, when I look back, another one was 1984, PT Usha, so close to winning a medal, and when they weren't expecting anything, but when it came to the finals, then she was expected to win a medal. She just missed out. It was just a miss, But again, it was at that time it was considered very bad luck, and there was a lot of people felt sorry for her, and But then eventually, what happened? She couldn't get an Olympic medal, and she missed it. And then another one, I can think about was because even 83. See, we Indians are very good when there is no expectations. We just come out of the blue and win a big event.
So true. So true.
Even the cricket World Cup, 1983, we won it.
True.
And they say it was a big achievement. And but 4 years down the line, we were one of the best teams. But when it happened in India, we couldn't deliver. We couldn't win. So it is. So it is when there is expectations. We are not able to deliver, like you mentioned. Another one I can again say is Anju Bobby George. She's one of the first athletes to win an international medal in the World Championships. She got a bronze medal in long jump, and she was sure to get a gold or silver or bronze at the 2004 Athens Olympic Games, and I was there. Again, we all went, the athletic village. We all went there to watch that, and she couldn't deliver. She lost out, and nobody was expecting at that time Rajwat Singh Rathod. He won a bronze medal, a silver medal for the shooting, and then again, if you look at it, 2008, it was the Olympic Games. Abhinav Bindra, nobody was expecting. He won the gold. But again, subsequently 2012, when everything was provided to him, expected sure to win a gold medal, couldn't deliver. So this is and now when I look back, I was personally with Sana Nehwal at the All England, the big title. She was expected to win. She had never lost to Carolina Marin prior to that, and she was sure to win the All England finals. And I was there, and she beat all the good Chinese girls. Got to the finals. She won the first game. When it came to the crunch, I don't know the thought process, because the previous day itself in India there was a big hype that she was the first woman player to reach the All England finals. She couldn't cope with it. She lost out. But next week, she beat all of them and won the India Open. But then, and she became world number one. But whatever it is, she missed the All England title. And same way, 5-6 months later, the World Championships, again, she lost to Carolina Marin when it came to the crunch to win. I was there again. So I've seen these things, and then now just the Olympic Games, if you look at it, Lakshya Sen, sure to win a medal. When he came up really right on top, he could have got a gold, silver or bronze. But before the Olympic Games, nobody was expecting anything from him. But when it came to the crunch, he first missed out when he played Victor Axelsen. He had game point. He just couldn't, messed it up. And then next day for the bronze medal, again winning the first game way up, again messed it up.
You're like a sport historian.
No.
I think I mean, that's so well explained, and each case, case by case, you've seen this. Now, my question is, I'll in fact give an example. In fighting, they say in UFC and in fighting sports, they say what happens when fighters start winning, they start making some money. There's a saying that, once you start sleeping on satin sheets, the fighter in you goes. So that street dog mentality goes off, and you become a softer person because you have more comforts in life. So do you think it is that hunger that goes off with people, or is it that the fame, and of course we're a nation where we want heroes. Somebody wins, we're just waiting to put that person on a pedestal. And I call it the Maro or Nacho. So if somebody wins, we are dancing.
It is definitely one of the factors because that adulation, you're getting, or before that you think, if I get this medal, my life is done. So the thinking process and all these are letting at the moment many of the elite sports persons. But there is no expectations. Like if you look at Sindhu, Rio Olympic Games, nobody was expecting anything from her. She just came from nowhere. She got to the finals and got a silver medal.
Do you think with cricketers, because there's a history of fame, money, there's people to look up to. Like a Virat Kohli has, maybe a Dhoni and a Sachin Tendulkar.
They can. Whether it is they can handle pressure, because cricket is the number one sport in the country. Any failure, you are crucified all the time. So, but they are able to handle it a lot better. Other sport, many have. We are yet to get to that term. On that sort of a mental frame. We have not. So but it will happen.
Yes, over time.
Definitely.
I think cricket has that unique thing. Cricket is physically not as demanding. But I think in India, at least mentally it is right up there. People are crucified if they lose.
You see in the stadium, you walk in, just
millions
look at
watching
Virat Kohli, millions watching you, 40,000 people, sitting and just they want either to score a century or take a wicket, crucial time, and sometimes guys like Kohli and all, they consistently perform, so that is very whether it is Tendulkar or Sunil Gavaskar, they all could they've done reasonably. So in that aspect, that mental frame, the thing, cricket
Yes, sir.
maybe,
Yes.
athlete, they are much better off in
Handling pressure.
handling pressure. Yeah.
As a team sport also, maybe, because it's a team sport,
yeah,
whereas
no
a
one-
lot of all these sports, I think, which you spoke, all
Yeah.
individual sports,
Sport.
physically demanding,
Yes.
definitely, maybe shooting falls in a different league, but still.
Yeah.
My some sort of not a question, but something when I watched, and this really struck with me. I know when I was traveling with Laksh, I remember we were in Denmark, and we had gone to practice, and Victor Axelsen was
Yeah,
there. And he's
yeah.
of course Victor Axelsen,
Yeah.
world champion, Olympic, this, that, everything. And I remember him coming in there, putting up the nets with all the other guys, and then they start playing. He was not the Olympic champion or not a. So, do you think there's things that we can learn from the Europeans'
Yeah.
approach, and also maybe things that we don't learn? Maybe there's certain playing styles that don't suit us.
Yeah.
Do you think there's things we can learn?
Like Victor Axelsen, they take responsibility. See, they have to manage
exactly.
everything on their own, and the professionalism means, they have to pay for everything.
True.
See, in India, suppose in an elite athlete, when they come in, the government is providing. Now, they provide coach, physio, trainer, because we always look at wanting that medal. The Olympic Games, especially just prior to the Olympic Games, whatever you ask, it is provided. But that is sometimes, it is not. The athlete also, an elite athlete also need to learn to pay. Pay for the coach, pay for the trainer, pay for this, especially when you can afford it, when you are doing well, when it is when you are paying in sort of an income tax. If an athlete is paying 3-4 crores of income tax, then he or she can easily write off from the income tax. These are expenses. Don't
Exactly.
depend on the government or
Their
anybody.
sponsorship.
Be independent. So once you take that responsibility, I think your mental makeup will be a lot more. You will become a lot more better, and so that is-
self-reliant, I guess, right? And that's
yes,
and that's what you need in sport.
Yes.
Isn't it? When you're in the ring, you're
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
Then the fans don't matter.
yes,
When you're in the court, you're alone.
yes.
I think that part, maybe our guys, our girls also, they need. Possibly.
It is again, talking to them, because at the moment they don't realize, they feel, it is there, it is my birthright, I have to
It
get
is
that.
there forever.
Yeah, it should be there, so that should not be the approach, Maybe the elite athletes, has to show that way. So the next line,
Can
so
see.
they will learn from it.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, and
Actually, a
so
very
in
good-
that way I appreciate Prakash or Vishwanathan Anand, because Prakash also, when he was at the top, he left the country. He was on his own in Denmark, paid for everything. Whether it was his coach, his travel, lots of the things, he did it on his own. And of course, only a few official events which he played for the country paid for it. Otherwise, most of them, you earn prize money, you spend on. So such a thing.
Was there sponsorship like how it is now? Like as much? help?
No, now it's much
It's
better.
a lot more,
There are a
of
lot
course.
of agencies, coming forward. If you're an athlete is good, if you have the potential, there are people coming forward to put in the money for them, and so that is, in a way, it's good. I'm not against such things, but I'm talking about elite athletes. Once they get to a certain,
Exactly.
they have to invest their money back. Don't depend on too much on the government or others. You have a sponsorship, another thing, spend the money. So that way also you can become, you plan everything better, you become a better professional.
Cool. My next question to you is something off, and I don't think this is generally spoken about much, maybe not asked, but I think a senior coach like you who's seen so much across time, I want to ask you about, maybe giving advice to youngsters and young coaches, sometimes even maybe some older coaches. See, there's a lot of cases now, almost every month we hear, some exploitation case, some student, some coach somewhere, has exploited somebody and then they were arrested, and it's happening more and more. It's almost like coming out almost every time.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to young coaches to ensure that they stay professional and they don't get into trouble for themselves, the girls, the families, everybody? It's like, losing jobs, fame going off, name going bad. What would your
Yeah,
suggestion
it has happened in many disciplines, and it is sad. And because one thing is, the athlete, whether it is the male or the female, they will emotionally get attached to the coach,
Exactly.
especially if it is
Exactly. Yes.
a young coach. It is bound to happen, but the coach should have the ability to where to draw the line.
So
So just because an elite athlete, or the youngsters, when they go through difficulties, when they go through a bad patch, that's the time they are very vulnerable. So that is the time, sometimes they are exploited, or but there are, I feel they need to read and understand. There are manuals available, lot more awareness. They should be particular, and the punishments are very severe.
Absolutely.
But again, it is, I feel, it is your personal
Exactly.
thing.
Yes.
You have to have
It should come
that
from within.
and it is that certain sort of that discipline should be there. It is there. The opportunities. They think it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exploit it.
Exactly.
That nobody will, because I'm sure some years back and other things, but now more cameras, and you're scrutinized more. It is there, and there is fear. So in a way, it is good, but again, it is in your own way. You should have that
Absolutely.
discipline, and no, this is, the relationship has to be, you should draw the line. And,
Exactly. I think a lot of times, with young coaches, this can happen because, again, you're around young people,
Yeah.
younger people,
yeah,
and I think coaches should not forget that this is not a club that you come
Yeah.
to where there's girls and there's
Yeah.
boys, who are all fit, looking
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
bodies.
yeah,
This, at that age, I think that testosterone needs to be controlled.
yeah,
Okay, and you can be friendly, but you don't have to be friends with
Yeah.
your athletes. I think that's something to remember, because once you become friends, then the line is crossed.
Yeah.
And I think somebody who's in their 30s and the
Yeah,
students are 20, 25,
that's what I
similar
said.
interests.
Where
right?
to draw the line? I don't think in this era, you cannot just exploit somebody.
Exactly.
It will
It's not worth it. If any young coach is listening,
Yeah.
okay, absolutely not worth.
No,
Especially
it is,
in something.
you completely ruin your
Absolutely,
career,
you know.
your career path, because
It's
at 13,
shame
14
forever.
Yeah. No, even otherwise also you will not be accepted. You will
Exactly.
not.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll have to leave India. It is the media and others. It is definitely it is not worth. Again, you should be passionate about your coaching, and how you can help a young athlete, because everybody, we all know, cannot become champions and other things,
Exactly.
but we should.
Yeah.
Our job is to ensure that we can help them in realizing their potential, whatever they are capable of.
True.
So that should be our motto, and move on, and
Basically, keep your testosterone in check. Okay, it's not good if it's at the wrong place. Know where to use it. Now, my next question, third and last question is, and we've discussed this many times, overtraining. In my experience, when I see, from a sports science perspective or strength and conditioning perspective, I think in India, possibly we have the most working athletes. We work the most, results don't match. What's your view on overtraining and what to do for it?
yeah, it's a major problem. It is. I can talk about badminton. See, badminton. The game is really exploded. So many youngsters have come up in the sport, and everybody is really working hard.
Exactly.
Many centers all over the country, and but that old line, mehnat karne ka hai, you have to work really hard, and every day, we give example.
Karo ya maro. It's like that.
Yeah, every day,
Maro.
we give an example of Milka Singh, how he was training, every day he was spitting blood,
Exactly.
and so those sort of things, they made these stories, and which has gone into the coach's head, and the athletes. So we are giving them a lot of wrong thing. So if you really work hard, you will do well. No, working hard is different from doing
Working right.
right,
You have to work right,
so that
isn't it?
is something you have to be very sincere, because some days even when you are taking off and you're not training and other thing, but then you are taking care of your rest, what you eat,
Exactly.
and at some point of time you indulge in, you eat, but then you can train and bring it down, and but everything there is the right way of doing things. But at the moment in badminton, many of our elite athletes are doing too much, because we compare ourselves. Oh, China, they are doing this.
Exactly.
We make stories. China, they are doing this. Indonesia, they are doing this. They do so much. They do 8 hours of training, and so many things.
So
There
many
are
myths, I feel, and sometimes
Yeah,
don't
you
you
know-
think that our structures and there's evidence behind this. South Asian structures are very different, especially to Europeans, even the Orientals, Chinese, Japanese,
Yeah, it is.
and still we train something which doesn't work,
Yes.
where the structures don't suit.
This is something which I really appreciated what Prakash earlier when we started the academy. He made one point that what comes to you naturally, we should make it 100%. What was natural for us in badminton was our wrist,
yes.
and our way of thinking. We were clever. We had supple wrist, and deception. Such things. So he always said that we should make that 100%, and then try to incorporate, because we were poor those days in terms of physical aspects. We were poor. So get better. At least attain 60% of what the Indonesians or Chinese. If we can get there, that's good enough. So
Exactly.
that sort of a thinking, that was really good. But now, of course, we have good trainers and physios, and in the sport, and but again, they go into that hyper mode. So when an athlete comes back, in our time when we used to come back, we used to say that no, you lost because of fitness.
Exactly.
So we just played a 20-minute. It is not because of fitness. We were either slow or we couldn't cope with, tactically wrong. So many. We never. It was. They said no. It was because no fitness. So we used to go and run and run and run, and we killed ourselves many times. But things have changed. But still, when I still feel
Still work.
in training programs, see, when you are playing, say, badminton, it is a very physical and technical sport. You know that, and it is very. So when you are having a 2 hours or 2.5 hours of hard training on court, many players, I have seen subsequently immediately then they go to the gym. Then they just go and do and gym, and then they do some other thing for the legs, or then again, after 3 hours, they'll be again on the court doing skip. So they are doing a lot of work, but eventually it is not.
It's not with the
helping.
direction.
Right? So sometimes they know it, but they feel unless you do this, you cannot give good results.
And that it's not enough. I think
Not
that's
enough.
something set in people's head,
Yes.
that it's never enough. No
Enough.
matter what you do,
Yes, yes.
not enough.
Yes.
So I
Because-
think, like what you said, no, it's working hard is important.
Yes.
My question is always how hard.
Yes.
You need to know how hard. It can't be just work hard.
Yes.
How much? If you're doing runs,
Yes.
before getting to maybe a program, 2 months later, and in swimming, of course, I do this because it's a bit more easier to sort of program
Yeah.
because they have. But if it's an event, somebody who's doing 1005 versus somebody who does 50 meters, exactly how much time do you have? And before that, in the gym, what is it that you want to achieve? You should know it on the first day.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just never know.
No. Yeah.
Till the last point is like, I should have done a bit more. I need to do a bit more.
So it is. See, for example, a very tough badminton game can two singles players when they play, if it's a really tough this thing, and I would say it takes about, it will be 1.5 or 90
Yes.
minutes to
Exactly.
maximum 100 minutes. But then if you look at it, to do that, we are training every day. Like
Every
that.
session.
Every
Every
session.
session is
So that is something we need to think properly and manage that properly. Sometimes even at the gym, I remember when you some days they do just a few squats. I used to sometimes say I did only few this thing only. I said maybe that's enough.
That's enough
You
for
know,
that day.
but don't worry,
Exactly.
that the thing, it is. But then they would feel that no, that wasn't enough. They would do extra. So such things sometimes,
Exactly.
as adversely many times it is
Absolutely.
an elite athlete,
Exactly.
and you know
Exactly.
sometimes the poor performances basically because of such things. You know the blunders we do, because as far as badminton is concerned, yes, you know you do the donkey's work and everything you can do till you're 16, 17
True.
and other things, but once you attain full growth, then it is sport specific. You know you have to be smart. What do you do, and so SNC plays a very important role there, and then the technical person, so this balance, if you can find, the knowledge is there, but then we always either one of these person in that makes mistakes,
Goes,
so they
exactly.
go overboard, and so that is happening to Indian badminton, and we need to arrest those things. Even the former players, the technical thing, many of them, they come, whether it come from Indonesia or Malaysia, and they always come. We have to
Hard
do
work,
hard
hard
work,
work, hard
so
work.
that is something.
God,
It is to a certain extent, it has not allowed our sport to really,
Absolute.
go to because I feel badminton players are super fit. They can play even better than sometimes the display they're putting up now.
In fact, two things you've said, which come in sports science, these are
Yes.
principles. One
Yes.
is being sport specific.
Specific, yes.
So training according to the sport.
Sport, yeah.
If you're doing badminton, one has to really ask, how does a clean and jerk really
Yes,
work?
yes,
How
yes.
much of
Yes.
it really influences? How much does heavy lifting work? So exactly what qualities are you working on? And the second principle is the principle of individualization or individuality.
Yes.
So exactly for you, how much is enough?
Yes.
Because a world champion has done something or somebody else is doing
Yes.
it in some other country, how much is right for you?
Yeah, in fact, Declan, I can tell you, when we had one coach from China came, I'm talking about many years when we were young, and it was good. Gopi Chand and all was, in fact, the Chinese coach helped Gopi a lot at the time, and but his principle was that when we used to do squats, no, in China women do 200 kg squat. So they all say, we can't do 200 kg squat. But that was the way. Even now, it is prevalent.
It's still
You see,
exactly.
they do 200 kg. You can't even do 150 squat. So they keep trying. Such things. It is going wrong. It definitely, and too much of plyometric, because badminton, in my opinion, it is
It's
plyometric.
already plyometric.
Plyometrics,
It's
So
absolutely,
such thing. So
absolutely.
we need to find the right balance. To a certain extent, many of the top players are many players have not realized their full potential because of such things.
Exactly. And so many injuries happen.
Yeah.
I call it like, especially in physically demanding sport, tennis, badminton,
Yeah.
swimming, boxing,
Yes.
where there's a lot of demands.
Yeah.
It's like you first need to have a good car,
Yeah.
okay, which needs to now race, and then comes the driver.
Yeah.
You can't focus on the driver and
Yeah.
forget the car. Like fitness is not an option in badminton.
Yes.
You have to be fit, you have to
Yeah.
be light, you have to be strong. But if you're not this, maybe you might get lucky in a few matches.
Yes.
But
No.
then this can't be an option at your
Yes.
best. To be your best,
Yes.
it's like, you need to have that Ferrari tuned
Yes.
to race. It's not about who sits in the
Sit
car.
in the-
That comes secondary.
Yes.
But first you need a super tuned car. And I think that's where we keep missing. The car is not there. And then that's why I rely on, no, Jamal, do it. It's all in the mind.
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
So there's a mind. But
Yeah.
sport is for people who are fit first.
Yes.
Then comes the mind.
Yes.
It can't be the other way around. I always tell people, that you can't just think that, oh, I'll think I'm fit
Yes.
and I'll be fit. You can't be like that. You have to be fit and
No,
then
no,
you use a mind.
No, it's very important that SNC is very important for any racket sport. It is very. Then these sort of, like you said, crucial times. So those are all the technical person's
Exactly.
strength.
Yeah.
So you create match situations when they are a little tired. End of the sessions. Make them play a few games. Give them certain stages. You have to convert how they can
Absolutely.
push and pull out that next 2-3 points. These are things the athlete should be smart enough to do and learn. Not that you play 2 hours of hard session and straight away
Then
go to
get
the
it.
gym and again without recovery, because if they have to do that or go into cycling, and I've seen so many it is
People
doing-
become like gym people, and I
Yes.
keep telling athletes, you can't win medals in the gym.
Yeah.
The gym is to help you and then get there and then you play. Don't neglect the gym,
Yes.
but don't get in love with the gym also.
Yes.
It can't be overdone. Is that sort of tuning, like I said, the car is necessary, and then once you have a good car,
Yeah.
Have the right racer
Yes,
to sit in.
True,
But
yeah.
don't be so involved with the car that you forget the racer.
Yeah,
Or just
yeah.
think, that I can sit in a. I remember Anoop had said this, like he said, like you sit in an auto rickshaw and somebody can just believe I'm in a Rolls Royce. That is delusion.
Yeah.
You have to be in a Rolls Royce to actually sit in a Rolls Royce. So same goes with the body.
And it is because eventually, in my opinion, elite athletes, they have to take care of the body.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah,
eating
it's not
right,
an
rest,
option.
and it's
Exactly.
only 50% is training and playing. Other 50% is how you take care of your body and how you rest and how you eat, what you eat, and it has to be very, very. They have to be very, very professional. That level of professionalism, we
need to
still
work on.
still has not come into our this, and it will. I'm very hopeful because in my lifetime I would like to see India a big sporting nation, and
Cool. Thanks, Vimal, so much. I think
Thanks.
this is a great one. A lot of learnings for everybody. Okay, so listen to carefully what is said, and I hope things get implemented in this.